Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, the one and only hosting Cruz, bringing you another exciting edition of boxing. Don't forget to hit and to like, subscribe to my channel. It's always greatly appreciated. Stay tuned. Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, hosting Cruz, and news has come out that Jake Paul will be taking on the son of a legend, former WBC middleweight champion of the world, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., in the summer in the cruiserweight division. In a cruiserweight fight, 200 pounds. Jake Paul, ladies and gentlemen, has made a career out of fighting broken down, washed up MMA fighters, pro boxers like Mike Tyson in his last fight, a 58-year-old one-legged Iron Mike Tyson. That was hard to watch in the middle of the ring. Mike Tyson is just trying to keep his balance, bouncing on his toes, trying to keep up, trying to stay up. And that's what Jake Paul has been all about. You know, Anderson Silva over his prime, MMA, bare knuckle fighting. Jake Paul, and this is what fans want. They want to see Jake Paul in with a true professional fighter, pro boxer, in his prime, in his moment, as young as Jake Paul or younger, or a contender or a former world champion. Jake Paul said he wants to take this sport serious, and he has a bit, you know, staying in the gym, sharpening and dedicating his craft to become better, and he has. I gotta give him credit to doing that. You know, he has a better jab. He has a nice, solid right hand. He's always had it. That's how he put Tyron Woodley to sleep and Nate Robinson. But those guys, Nate Robinson is a basketball player, former professional basketball player, and Tyron Woodley is an MMA guy, MMA fighter. I'm talking about fighting true professional boxers in their prime. Nobody's washed up or nothing. And this is what me and us fans are waiting for, to see Jake Paul fight someone just his age and a true professional fighter. Now, here he is now getting ready to fight Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Now, Chavez Jr., as we all know, is a former middleweight champion of the world, WBC middleweight champion of the world, back in 2011, where he won the title from Germany's Sebastian Speak in a tremendous fight. Had a few title defenses against Marco Antonio Rubio, Andy Lee, Peter Manfredo Jr. I watched all those title fights. You know, I was a big Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. fan. You know, I rooted for him like he's Puerto Rican. But until he bumped into Sergio Martinez, he got outboxed for 12 rounds. He almost won the fight by knockout in the last round. Almost reminiscent to what his dad did to Medrick Taylor in their fight in the last round. One of the most traumatic rounds you'll see Chavez Martinez in 2012. Now, Chavez lost that fight, and ever since that fight, he hasn't been the same. His career has been a roller coaster of a ride. Win-loss, quitting on his stool a couple times. When he fought Daniel Jacobs, is a fight that he was winning and he quit. Like, his heart was no longer in the sport. And as time passed, maybe his heart was never in the sport. You know, when you got fed a silver spoon, you know, and your dad is the greatest Mexican fighter of all time, one of, if not the greatest. That's, you know, that hunger was never really there. I mean, he was hungry enough to win the WBC middleweight title. You got to give him credit to that. He did something that a lot of professional fighters can't do, and has become world champion. And Chavez Jr. did it. You know, it wasn't handed to him. He fought for it. Had a few title defenses, like I said. But after the Martinez fight, Chavez Jr. was not the same. He never recovered. And now being 39, last fight, he fought Uriah Hall, who's a Jamaican kickboxer, I think, 40 years old. Chavez won that fight. And then before that, he fought someone. He won 10 rounds. Don't know who the guy is. And then prior to that, he got outboxed by Anderson Silva, a guy that's an MMA legend. Um, and Chavez Jr. got outboxed for 8 rounds in that fight. That wasn't supposed to happen, but it did. Yeah. So Chavez Jr. So here's where I'm going with this. Chavez Jr. is a professional fighter, former world champion, but he hasn't been the same since 2012, and he's 39. So Jake Paul is doing what he does best. He's fighting guys over their primes, over the hill, a bit up in age. No one, not if this was Chavez Jr. back in 2011, 2012 when he won the WBC middleweight title, Chavez Jr. would have destroyed Jake Paul. Jake Paul would have never even entertained that fight because Chavez Jr. would have gone in there and put the pressure on Jake Paul. And at 160, Chavez Jr. had a pretty good chin. And just work Jake Paul's body, close the distance, launch his uppercuts, left hook to the body, broke him down like he did Andy Lee in what was his biggest win to date and still in his career. That's not going to happen when these two guys get in there. Chavez Jr. is not the same. Like I said, from 2012, he's 39. He's heavier. He's slower. I don't know, man. Jake Paul, he's got to do better than this. Jake Paul has been he's doing what he does best, fighting guys with names and just high in age. They haven't been doing anything as of late in their careers. And we all, every time Jake Paul is finished with a fight, we always hope that he gets in there finally with someone his age and making noise, a contender, a former world champion that's in his prime, not old. That's what we want to see. Many thought in the past Jake Paul has entertained a Canelo Alvarez fight. That's not going to happen, and he don't want that. Jake Paul does not want that. Canelo is going to put him to sleep, spark out. Canelo is a fighter that he doesn't play boxing. Doesn't play boxing. Jake Paul, Canelo Alvarez is going to go in there and he's going to hurt Jake Paul. He's not going to pull punches like everyone said Mike Tyson did. So yeah, I just want to come out here and talk to you about that news. Likely this fight is going to be on Netflix. Jake Paul versus Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. in the summer in the cruiserweight division. Nothing. Jake Paul is not going to gain anything by beating Chavez Jr. Now, turn the tables, and if Chavez Jr. beats Jake Paul now, that will be something to look at, and that's something to talk about. That would be the biggest win of Chavez Jr.'s career since Andy Lee over 10 years ago. Says a lot. That will be unexpected, even from me, a Chavez Jr. fan. That's big. That's very unexpected, but highly unlikely at this point. Just wanted to come out here and talk to you about that news. Jake Paul, Chavez Jr. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below of this fight. Maybe a circus. Who knows? Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host and Cruz. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. It is always a pleasure to talk to you guys about boxing. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.